Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Independent Producers Live Showcase. We got a special program tonight because we're just coming down from Trump's speech last night. And it just, sometimes something like that is just hard for everybody to absorb.
Yes.
And so we're just going to do some talk about that somewhat. However, did you want to go ahead with that? Talk about the veterans?
Well, the other thing I might make mention is that this is 2019 now, right? You got me?
Right, 2019.
We've got 2 years before the presidential election.
This is Bruce Broussard.
There you go.
Mark Callahan.
Yes.
I'm Richard Carpenter.
Right, right.
We shouldn't really forget that.
We shouldn't forget that, and we got to make sure that we identify Mark to a certain degree because he recently ran for Congress against Schrader.
Okay.
He did a good job, and that's one of the reasons why we have him here. When you start thinking about the state of Oregon, sort of like the major metropolitan area for Oregon as it relates to what other the activities, whether it be liberal or this, that, and the other. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to talk. If we're going to talk about national issues and its impact of Oregon, this is the area we're talking about.
Well, that's
and
right.
Mark is that person that we're going to probably, hopefully rely on because he was knocking on those doors and he has the most recent response to many of the issues that there's going to be addressed within the next 2 years because we do have a presidential election right now. And regardless of what people might say, we've been having a presidential election from the day the person got, well, who's our present president, President Trump, who was elected, i.e. for the first 4 terms, but he's still in the election. We still have an ongoing election. We're sort of like in the 5th, let's see, I would say that the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, we're getting into the 7th year because well, we had the election and then he was, and he's been in there, 2 years now, right?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, see, so we got 2 years, and we're still having this election, right? And so come year 2020, we're gonna have an election.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is a very serious situation.
It's like tomorrow.
Yeah, right tomorrow. But guess what? And the reason why they can't have it tomorrow is because they don't have a candidate on the other majority party, and that is the Democratic Party. They don't have, if you will, a candidate to date.
Well, they got about 30 of them.
Yeah, they got 30. Yeah, they don't have one.
But only one that says anything.
Yeah, but still, we don't have one. But on the Republican side, we do have a candidate, and that is our president, the incumbent president of the United States. Now, in that whole issue of the running the race aspect of it, we've got everyday issues that this country is faced with on an ongoing basis, from an international standpoint and from a local standpoint. So we got this whole mixture of dealing with our issues as just from day to day kind of a routine, and also the election. And boy, that's a difficult situation. And the person who we're dependent upon to articulate that is the media, something like us. But the major media, if you will, there's 2 major media.
Is biased.
It's very, very biased to a certain degree.
Drive-by media.
We got a media, and that's a tough thing. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of just share that little preamp piece for you, so you have an idea of where we're going. And so consequently, one of the major issues that are sitting that we're having to address now that impacts us all in this country is the whole issue of how do we deal with this idea of the illegal immigration piece. You know what I mean? We are a country of immigrants. I mean, the only entity that identifies with, we say, the Native American aspect of it. We got the Native American Indian, but the bottom line is that for some strange reason, we've always been under this one roof aspect of it, a nation of immigrants. But for some strange reason, because of all this confusion and all these discussions or whatever, all of a sudden the glue is not there anymore. The glue, everybody's kind of like wanting their own little entity, you get me? And you can see that based on, i.e., the media that shares it with us, you got me? So that's where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. So today, one of the biggest issues right now, one of the biggest issues right now, and that impacts us all, is the whole issue with the borders right now. But primarily, and we've got issues on the northern borders and we got issues on the southern border, but the majority of that effort is in the southern border aspect of it. When you think about Central America and all those countries on that end of the deal, but the one that abuts us is Mexico. So now we got that issue. And for those of us, in all due respect, the majority of the public who's out there now, maybe who's looking at the show, maybe you don't spend the time. They don't spend the time looking at media and the news. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like whoever can access to them. And now normally the only way they can access news when it locally impacts them within their present surroundings. Like here in the city of Portland, You've got the situation with Portland police. You got the police situation. We got ISIS. And then there's some major events. And then we got the demonstration piece. And people can visibly see that. And then the idea is who's responsible for all this and the problems. The media basically throws it out there. Well, it's Trump. They don't even give the respect of saying the President of the United States. And he's just one person. The fact that we got him.
They try to minimize and discredit him is what it is.
Exactly, and as a result of that,
Everything.
And then we forget the whole. But we live day to day. We do live day to day, and we do know the impact that it has on us, and how to react. And so we're looking for an interpreter, and we're one of those. And so that's where we are now. So we're going to try to share with you our thoughts about this whole issue of the issue right now, which is the borders and the wall and what that means, defining that, how it's sort of like generated, how did we get to this particular point, and where it's going. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. Okay?
I'd make a comment about the money.
Yeah.
It costs American taxpayers, legal and illegal aliens, or I have to say immigrants if they're legal, or
right.
citizens really,
Right.
$330 billion. That $5 billion for the wall just doesn't seem like very much up against that. I just don't know why they don't let that go ahead. Why they're just so determined to stop Trump.
But that's what it's all about. It's not the million. It's not the dollars.
Well, the other side's made it about a cult of personality, basically. I was doing my research before coming over here tonight, and what is it? 5 years ago, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they voted. They're on record saying that we need a wall. 2006, they all voted. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, when he was a senator, he voted for the Secure Fences Act. As I said, about 5 years ago, they voted for $48 billion to secure the border.
Yes.
And they had what's coming up now is like, okay, so if you guys were in favor of this 5 years ago, you're not in favor of it now because Trump is in there, or our president is in there, our duly elected president is in there. Then what's their problem? It's like they're focusing so much on just taking down one person
to be president.
Yeah.
2000.
Exactly.
2020.
They're focusing so much on taking down our duly elected President Trump, and not focusing on the national security of the country. I was listening on the way over here on the radio, and it's not just a crisis. The other side called it a manufactured crisis.
Yeah, I saw
it's not
that.
A manufactured crisis. You want to look at a manufactured crisis, go back to Fast and Furious, when our own government was doing gun running over the Mexican border.
Right.
That's a crisis, and it's manufactured, I guess. But the point is, the other side will try to minimize it and discredit it by saying it's a manufactured crisis. And I was taught when I was growing up by my grandfather to listen to both sides of the story. So I listened to Trump's 9.5-minute speech he gave yesterday from the Oval Office, and I listened to the highly stoic Chuck and Nancy show response. Standing in front of the flags there, and I'm thinking to myself, Chuck and Nancy are lying. They are liars, and they're totally out in left field. They don't know what they're talking about. They're trying to minimize what Trump is saying, and Trump ran on this main point of immigration and building the wall and border security when he was running 2 years ago, and all that Chuck and Nancy and the Democrat liberals in Congress and the far left liberals and even some of the rhinos in Congress, all they want to do is stop Trump, and that's not taking care of the country. That's not doing their job. They're failing in their responsibility. They're failing in their oath. And they're so focused on taking down Trump that they're not looking at what people are dying on the border. You have Corporal Ronald Singh in California here. He died because of an illegal alien shot him as a result of a traffic stop. An illegal alien that shouldn't even been here in the first place. Ronald Singh died. Officer Singh had a 5-month-old child. His 5-month-old, will never get to know his father now because some illegal alien took the life of his father away. And you have other stories like this. I mean, if you look up the Remembrance Project, that's run by a lady by the name of Maria Espinosa. Basically, her and her husband are going around the country, and they have these big sheets of people that have died as a result of illegal alien crime. Well, they shouldn't have died. That's just it, because we should have border security. And if the Chuck and Nancy show, as well as our former president and the former presidential candidate on the Democrat side voted for the Secure Fences Act, they were in favor of money for the border security back in 2013. You can see how shallow they are. You can see how they're not focusing on the security of the country, and it's a humanitarian crisis in addition to a national security crisis. I mean, just look at the drugs. I mean, 90% of our heroin that comes into this country comes in through Mexico.
And we got a major heroin problem.
Exactly.
Issue right now today.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But some strange reason there's no feeling. You know, as if to say, it is an issue, just like the homeless issue is an issue.
Yeah.
We got Americans that are out of work.
Yeah.
Those people that are sitting out here right now within our city, within the city in Oregon for that matter, these folks were working at one point in time.
Exactly.
Families on the street.
Exactly.
I mean, you can drive anywhere. There are women on the street. I mean, even here in Portland area, and I live in North Portland aspect of it, there are people under the bridges, women.
Yep.
And you think about the Me Too movement, we got that issue that's sitting down there.
Exactly.
The family issue is not a priority anymore.
I mean,
this is all an election.
You got Doctors Without Borders that are down there on the near the border, and they're talking about like 7 out of 10 people coming across the border have tuberculosis, have various other diseases. 3 out of 10 women coming across the border are raped on the way up. And so, I mean, where's the Me Too movement for the people that are being
Those
raped
women,
around the border?
You
know, but oh no, we can't have the border security according to the left and the liberals. You know, but the point is, that's where the humanitarian crisis comes in, and that's where it kind of intersects with the national security crisis.
Exactly.
And you're talking about the economy and people coming into this country illegally. That's driving down the wage
Big
base.
time.
Because if you have people coming into the country illegally, you have employers hiring these illegal aliens, right?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, they don't have to pay them a legal wage because they're not here legally, and they can get the work out of them for paying less than a minimum wage. So that drives down the wages for everyone. I mean, regardless of skin color, regardless of ethnicity.
That's right.
So
that's right. And you know, I think on that economy thing, on the economic side of it, when you think we had supposedly one of the entities that was going to counter, if you will, some of the illegals and such, that jobs wouldn't be available, so therefore they wouldn't come, because once they called the family members here that had gotten either their citizenship, you know what I mean? They would be told, hey, look, they got a deal in place called E-Verify. But guess what? It's not working. Because the fact they're forged documents.
Well, it's voluntary.
And employers are allowing folks to come, look the other way, and no one's going to jail.
So not only do they come into the country illegally, but they forge documents. They commit fraud. That's fraud. Is what it is. A felony. It's fraud. Felony fraud.
And within our system, we are the authorities are allowing, if you will, the employers to do it.
Exactly.
Because they're the one that accept it, right?
Yeah,
you got my point?
Yeah.
And they're the one that have lobbied, supposedly paying the taxes and whatever, to make sure we do audit that system.
Yeah.
We got rules and regulations.
Yep.
But we don't have that in place because guess what? Congress not doing their job.
Exactly.
Making sure that they
And
get
they're
their
lying.
job.
They
And
haven't been.
They're lying.
They're just lying.
Chuck and Nancy are lying.
They're lying.
They are liars, straight up liars.
That's right. But the only entity that can, certify or if not that, talk to the acceptance of that, in all due respect, is media.
Yeah.
And we got one of the major media, CNN, in all due respect.
Well, media fans the flames.
Yeah,
is what
they
do.
basically constantly making the point about, again, the Trump piece.
Yeah.
He's a liar. He's a liar. He's a liar. And in the moment you just go across that border on this other side, don't call me a liar. People get very upset. I mean,
well, the media projects on their own lies. Is what they do. I mean, the media lies because they basically repeat the same talking points that the Democrats and the rhinos in Congress say all day, all night.
Until they believe them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they figured, what was that old saying that we heard back when Obama was president? If you say a lie long enough, it becomes the truth or something like that.
Yeah. And that's kind of like where we are. And when you think about, then the other big thing is that they started out back when doing the work, and they called it comprehensive was it comprehensive
Comprehensive immigration reform.
reform. So the bottom line, that's when they were supposed to be working together.
Yeah.
Back when.
Yeah.
You got me? And now all of a sudden the issue was, in all due respect, or in most cases, the Mexican immigrants,
Yeah.
primarily from Mexico. But now here today, they talking about all these other things, and the Mexicans are not at the table. They got the Central American folks, Honduras and folks of that nature. You got my point?
Yeah.
So they're not at the table. You would think that there are Mexican Americans here.
Yeah.
They're elected to office. They're part and parcel of this. They've assimilated in many ways. You got
Yeah.
me? They should be at the table. We should be discussing and asking them the question, hey, where are you to deal with this issue?
Exactly.
You are
They don't
an
wanna deal with
immigrant.
it, though.
They don't want to deal with
Yeah.
it because guess what? In many cases, they're pushing their culture like many other entities are pushing their cultures now.
Exactly.
Whereas before, the only culture was the American flag.
Yep.
You got
Exactly,
me?
yeah.
So, and we were all working to make sure we maintain that. We agreed with that. But, and because Congress is not doing their job, that's how we've gotten so loose. And that's why everybody's sort of confused. You can ask anybody on the street, well, what do you think? Do we have any problem in this country? Yeah, Trump. That's the first thing out of their mouth. Well, who is he? Well, I don't know. This guy, we hear about his name.
Some president,
He
yeah.
said something about, what, he's president, is he president here? No, I mean, you see it all the time, but the bottom line is, look who's running this deal.
Well, the interesting thing was that I was listening to the radio, and there were some radio personalities on there that were talking about, they were going out on the street, and they were repeating quotes like, "You need to secure the border. We need to have a wall. We need to have immigration reform, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." And the people that were replying to these people that were or repeating these quotes on the street, they were saying, "Oh, that's so hateful. That's so hateful." But then the people on the street would say, "Well, Nancy Pelosi,
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer,
Oh, yeah.
Hillary Clinton, and
Yeah.
Obama
Yeah.
said these quotes.
Yeah.
What do you think of them now?"
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that they said those
that's
quotes.
right, that's right.
The thing is, Trump's not saying this.
That's right.
He's basically, he's in there. He's trying to fix the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the original Democrats, the Pelosi's and the Schumers and the Obamas and the Hillarys that were in there saying this stuff back in 2013, back in 2006.
Exactly.
But now it's sort of hateful,
Yes,
now that
exactly.
Trump says it,
Exactly.
But I mean, their own people were saying it.
Yes, exactly. The other thing that I'm reminded of is the whole issue with war. You know how we are about this country. Everybody's about anti-war because it kills people.
Yeah.
People are very sensitive about it. It kills people.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, i.e. President Trump says, hey, look, and people have been saying, why are we having these wars and it's costing us money, but it's costing us lives, human lives of Americans. And then all of a sudden you say, well, hey, okay, fine. I hear it. We don't need this anymore. We're just going to start pulling these people out and let the responsibility on these other. We're tired of being the so-called world police aspect of it.
Yeah.
They need to start dealing with their issues.
Yeah.
And to me, that solves a lot of problems. It solves this whole issue of immigration and all this mass migration and all these issues, whatever, because now all of a sudden, and then we're paying, if you will, and we've been doing it, he understands it. We've been basically subsidizing all these entities outside not to assume their responsibility.
Yeah.
Now it's the time for them to plow some fields and create some products, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
get
so
into the
he
trade.
says we're going to pull troops out,
Yes,
out of
yes,
Syria.
yes.
We're going to pull troops out of Afghanistan. All of a sudden, the Democrats are for war.
Oh, we for war.
Yeah,
they're for war.
Oh, we can't pull the
We
troops
can't do
out.
that,
Yeah.
troop out. Well, then you said, well, okay, well, let's bring the draft thing. Oh, not me.
Yeah.
As long as it's not me, I'm cool. You know what I mean? But the rest of this guy, let this guy go. He can handle it. Well, who are you talking about? What about your neighbor? Oh, well, I don't know. I like her. You know,
Yeah, I'm sure if Trump said water is actually wet,
Oh,
I'm sure
yes.
the Democrats would say, "Oh no, water is not
No,
wet.
it's
you know.
dry.
It's dry.
It's
yeah.
a dry.
The sky isn't blue. It's
that's right.
pink with
That's
purple
right. That's
polka
right.
dots
That's right.
on it.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
I mean,
right. That's right.
my gosh, it's like whatever he says, they have to do the
That's right,
opposite
that's right,
of, and
yeah,
that's their
right, that's
mindset.
right.
Right?
And think about it too. Even as we talk to this divide, Brucey, well, let's say the two major parties and whatever, it's only a few people. It's less than 1% of the population that we depend upon to be the leadership
Yeah,
of us as a whole.
yeah.
We're
535 people in Congress.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And what about the rest of the folks, the millions of people who are out here struggling every day, getting up in the morning, trying to find a buck to pay their mortgage payment, the utility bills,
Exactly.
and find something to eat, and send their kids to school, and this, that, and the other. And nobody talks about that. So I tell you, I'll throw something on the table. I really think this is a sort of a New York administration.
Yeah.
When you think about the medias are right there. Your major medias
Yeah.
are in New York and Washington.
Yeah.
You got Washington and New York, right? You got me?
Yeah.
And when you look at the characters, they're all there. They're all there. But now all of a sudden it's really causing some problem. We got the youngest woman in Congress now.
Oh, yeah.
But
Lady's a joke.
But she's from New York.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's from New
that
York.
Ocasio-Cortez?
Yeah, but she's from New York. And that's an interesting piece. And you say to yourself, well, okay, fine. She's got her constituencies now. She got elected. And when I think about New York, when I go down there and whatever, I mean, it is quite a feat, if you will. I mean, millions of people are just cooped up in this, that, and the other. Got me? And she's from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
She's from Puerto Rico aspect of it. But the fact of the matter is, there she is. And now, guess what? Because she is using now she's the central point of the news, because they're putting out there, they're promoting her.
Personally, I think she's a joke.
No.
She knows nothing about
But
economics.
media promotes that.
Yeah.
But now media say, hey, no, she's not a joke. You listen to what we got going here. This is what you will see on that tube now.
If that's the other side's standard bearer, then I mean we're going to win 2020.
Are you happen to referring to that one lady that was elected that said the three divisions of government are President, Senate, and the House?
Yeah. Apparently, according to her, we need to have 70% taxes too.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep.
Which yeah.
But they're promoting it. Media is promoting it.
Yeah.
If media wasn't there, she wouldn't be there. If you hear what I'm saying, you got me?
Yeah. She knows nothing about taxation. I mean, she knows nothing about limited government.
But that's the norm
by,
now.
By her saying we need 70% taxes, she really is talking out of her backside. I mean.
But think about it, Mark. Now the public is being told, you don't know what you're talking about. She knows because she's the elected official. You got my point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what you're saying is that you didn't have enough entities within her constituency to counter that. Under our system, if the score is 2-1, the person who's got the 2 wins the game. So now she is the leader.
Yeah.
And the idea is that what do we do? I mean, think about it.
Well, there's
a discussion.
In my professional life, I've learned there's a difference between leadership and management.
Yeah.
And she's not even a good manager. She came, I think she was like a waiter or waitress or something like that in a restaurant, and then she was somehow magically elected congressperson.
But she was elected.
Yeah.
But she was elected.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, people did count the vote, I think.
Honestly, I don't understand why people are promoting her as being the God's honest truth, because she doesn't know, as I said, she doesn't know
But the
her
media
backside
does.
from a hole in the ground.
But the people who pretty well are supposed to understand the definition of leadership, you got me, and the application process that knows that, hey, they were there. They counted the vote. Got me? They counted the vote. They did the campaign piece, and now all of a sudden the winner is. And see, my thing is this: okay, fine. If the winner is, then boom, you let them do their job. Let them do their job. But now, if someone says, okay, fine. Well, we better fix it or something, and maybe you should, because I mean, I've run several times, and when you look at that application process, you think about it.
Yeah.
All you have to do is put a name up there. You can even put Mickey Mouse. Mm-hmm. You can put
I think it
50
takes a
bucks.
lot.
Some people have, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
50 bucks. They never ask for a resume.
Yeah.
They never ask for a resume in terms of what's your background, what have you done, what have you haven't done. You got me? They just put it out there, and then anything that you've done in a negative way before you file to run for office and this, that, and the other,
They'll find it.
They'll find it,
Yeah.
but they say nothing about it. You got me? Until someone raises it up, and then the ad goes up, right?
Yep, exactly.
And then they challenge it.
Yep.
But if you're winning, then they challenge it after the fact. Got me?
Yep.
And then there's this criteria that in some cases, I think back in the Congress aspect of it, things get found out about a person and it's a very negative deal. All of a sudden, then they go through, let's take this guy off the deal, or this guy, or whatever, and then they go through the process, and all of a sudden they found them guilty, they go to jail, but guess what? There's a little asterisk in the participation piece. If you won, you will still continue to get paid while you're in the institution.
Well,
That's our system.
Didn't we have a state legislator on the Democrat side that basically it was proven
Yep.
that they lied on their voters guide statement,
Yeah,
and they were in Eastern Oregon. I
Yeah.
guess they were trying to
Probably.
take over New Bueller's old legislative seat, right?
Right.
And it was actually proven that they lied on their voters guide statement.
Yeah,
So
right.
the Democrats swapped the person out with another liar, with another person that did something wrong and a criminal, and no wonder that they lost it. But
Oh, my
the point
God.
is, honestly, I don't think we can believe that side. I don't think we can believe Chuck and Nancy because they lie.
Right.
We definitely can't believe that Ocasio-Cortez lady because she lies as well. She doesn't know anything about anything. You know, what 3 branches of government? Come on. I mean, even I know that one. That's basics.
But then, where are the individuals within that rank
Yeah.
of qualifiers that have said something in opposition to that? Oh, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, where are they?
Well, they don't get the airtime.
No, but
Yeah.
my point is, where are they? Because the airtime is normally supposed to be with the majority.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got me?
Yeah.
Now they're basically just making hay because one thing, she mentions Trump, no problem, put it on the front line.
Yeah.
You got me? And then what happens if all of a sudden something happens within that form of government where it really causes all kinds of monies and all kinds of problems and discourse and protesting and this, that, and the other? Who's to blame?
The people in charge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the people in charge.
Yeah. Which are the liberals on the other side that are saying all this stupid
Right,
stuff
right,
online.
right. Or if not that, well, who signed off on it? You would think that, we all knew that. Well, if you've been around this peace aspect of it, we knew this issue was going to happen, and that's why I make the point about the fact it's an election thing.
Yeah.
They could care less about it. I don't care if the country just gets, excuse me, I hate to put it this way, if it gets blown up or we have problems or whatever, it's all about the election.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, if it gets so bad, oh, what are we going to do? Then there's a big shift, but then it's too late.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Basically, after I won the primary in 2018 for Congress for Oregon's 5th District, I put out some emails saying, we have 40 plus Republicans that are retiring. We can't allow Nancy Pelosi to get the gavel back, which ultimately she did. But the point is, I was talking about this kind of stuff back in July of 2018. I said, if Nancy Pelosi gets the gavel back again, the Democrats are going to talk about impeaching Trump. What they're doing right now is exactly what I was talking about back in July. And it's like, oh no, they can't impeach Trump. He hasn't done anything. Well, I
That's
agree.
right,
He hasn't done anything. He hasn't done
wrong.
anything. Yes,
How
but
do
the
you
point is,
impeach someone?
people didn't believe me back in July when I was saying, "Oh, Nancy Pelosi's going to get the gavel back. Oh, Trump, she's going to work to get Trump impeached if we don't get more Republicans in there." Well, we are now sitting in our own grave.
But now think about the latest. She was just interviewed by this woman from MSNBC. She was interviewed.
Or MSLSD, that's what I call
whatever,
it.
Yeah. She interviewed, and at that point in time, she said, "No, we're not going to impeach Trump." She made the statement.
Yeah, it's before she was elected speaker, though.
Yeah, because that's right before.
Yeah.
So she could get elected.
Yeah, exactly.
First it was impeached.
But now they're putting that forward.
They said, "Hey, look, we can't do the impeachment."
But he hasn't done anything
We-
wrong.
We got to make a deal. So then the deal was, okay, fine, we're going to make the deal on the wall.
Yeah.
And you got to go with the wall piece. Then they got into discussion of that piece. But then now she is the chairperson, right?
Yeah.
Of the Congress aspect of it.
Yeah.
Now
Speaker,
the speaker or whatever. Now the thing is, those folks who came back that were hunting and said, "Hey, look here. The only way I'll vote for you, you got to be quote this way. I.e., you got to impeach him."
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, now she's back. She said, "No." So now they're back. They're back, if you will. And then they said, "Well, okay, fine." Now, even from the wall standpoint, initially it was, "Oh, we're going to make a deal.
Yeah.
We're going to get DACA. We're going to sit down and make the deal. When we're going to make the deal." But now today, those people have come back and said, "No."
You got to look who's
No
representing
wall.
us in Congress too,
Yes.
because you got this the lady from Michigan, the
Oh,
Muslim, the first Muslim lady
see,
from
no,
Michigan.
no, but
She's actually on video
Yeah,
and
oh,
on
yeah,
audio
oh, yeah,
saying
oh, yeah.
we're going to impeach that MFer.
MF. That's right. That's right.
And
That's right.
expletive. I can't
That's
obviously
right.
say it right
That's
here,
right.
but
Right,
she actually said we're going to impeach that MFer.
Yep. And people say, "You
Yeah,
got to be kidding me."
Exactly. And then you have Ocasio-Cortez out there saying, "Oh yeah, Trump's a racist."
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
No, he's not a racist.
Yeah,
because of Trump, we have the lowest Hispanic and lowest African American unemployment in years, you know. And the point is, you have these people representing us in Congress, and you have the far left that is pushing this hatred of anti-Trump. And what's really ironic is that you have the far left trying to paint themselves as, oh, we're so tolerant. Oh, we all need to coexist and drive a Prius, whatever, you know. But the point is, they're the most hateful people of all because they're not tolerant to people that disagree with them.
Right. Well, look, we got about 30 minutes or so, and hopefully you're getting making some sense out of what we're trying to share with you, because in all due respect, that's on your plate too. You live here like we do. It's just that we've been participating in. We give you a forum, if you will, to discuss this issue. And naturally, if you say anything as if to say you're supporting Trump, I mean, then it's just a total no, everybody has a right to voice their opinion on whatever, but get the facts.
Exactly.
You got to get the facts.
I want to talk about the illegal aliens. That's the best way to say it.
Okay.
And I want to talk about Americans and how they had to come into this country and fight every inch to get across the country. They had to fight the Revolutionary War. They had to fight the king, the whole thing. And it was tough for Americans all the time to do all that. It was a hard life all the way through. And so now these immigrants, illegal aliens, come in and say, well, we want everything. We want health care and food and education and housing and cars and everything. We want everything.
It's the entitlement mindset.
And on top of that, they talk like, well, you owe us. You're patsies. Give us everything. They really have that kind of an attitude. And it's hard to grasp the difference. In other words, the hard work that Americans did to get this country, and then these people come in and just want everything. Want to get on welfare. Want to do this, do that, get everything. It is just overwhelming. So yeah, it's not anything to. It should be overwhelming.
Well, let me share a thought with you on that. See, like you said, during the early days, our history dictates the fact that it was an immigrant situation. All immigrants got together. I mean, that's what this country is about. You know what I mean? They were being pushed out of these other countries, and they all came here. And in many ways, they were, again, the Revolutionary War and all that other good stuff was kind of like, okay, we push you out here, and we want you to farm this stuff, and you send the good stuff back, and you keep the rest. And that's kind of like what the revolution came about. You know, after a while, people sort of got together, right? And they fought the mother country. There was water in between, so there was some opportunity there, okay? So, but today, we were assimilating during that particular time. But sometimes as we were growing, there were entities that were made up within our own, so we weren't looking in the same direction. We should have been a continuing situation, dot the I's, cross the T's, and we're a country, a nation of immigrants aspect of it. And we were being very successful. But there's always this element, because our way of government, we're profit making or whatever. What's the old saying? It's a freedom, and anything else, you know, you can do anything you want to do. I mean, as long as you work hard, you get it. Well, that was fine. But the bottom line is that there's still this capitalistic society, right? You got me? And greed always tends to grow within that arena. You know, Mark is living next door to me, and gee whiz, I mean, he works a little harder. Maybe he's got about 5 kids. I've got 2 kids, got me? And he's got a better crop than me because he's got more kids to pick up the crop. I can't, got me? And so eventually I'm hurting. So Mark comes to me and says, well, look, I'll buy your land, but let me tell you, you can just go on and stay there, but this is what I want out of the deal. But then after a while, I said, well, gee, Mike, then Mark becomes the same way that we fought the Revolutionary War for. And said, well, why should he have more than me? Well, wait a minute. He had to suffer to get there. You got me? And he did have the kids. But we forgot that. We sort of forgot that piece. And so now we sit, the same folks, when we start talking about the day, right now, the illegal immigration aspect of it right now, we've got an entity, as far as I'm concerned, one of the cultures here, that could have more access to what the problem is to solve our problem than any other of the immigrants in this country. And all due respect, Mexican Americans. They're Americans here. And they were granted citizenship in 2 different areas by Republicans. You know, both former President Reagan and the Bushes.
Yeah, back in
aspect of it.
86, yeah.
But again, it was about the economics. It was about economics, but they allowed them to vote too at the same time. Got me? And they said, well, okay, right then and there, they had a wall, that not necessarily a physical wall, but the idea is that they were able to hire people on the other side of the fence that said, okay, fine, you can come over here and make money, save your monies, if you will, and then if you want to just come and live here from this point on, you just go on and pay your way. You can come in, you can apply, you put the monies down, and you go through this process. You have to you have to learn English and this, that, and the other, and whatever. You know what the system is, and you're on. But they didn't just take them all. And they went back to their country. You got me? But then there was a major greed. There was just a caste system over there. You either rich or poor. But the fact of the matter is, those folks who did come over and picked up the crop during those crop periods, because we didn't have the numbers. You got me? Okay, fine, that happened. But now today, here we are today, and those folks who got that, and I think that was the biggest mistake we made in our country, was when we just gave it to them.
Yeah.
It wasn't a situation where they were saying, look, if you work hard, you can save your money, and you can apply to be a citizen here on an ongoing basis. It wasn't that. It's just, come on, come one, come all. And that's kind of really what happened.
Now they expect it.
Now
Basically, we become a country of we become a country of takers.
That's right.
Versus a country of
That's
workers.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
What I was trying to say, Civil War, another war that Americans had to fight, even though it was against each other.
Yeah.
But it's just so hard for what we have had to do to become a country to just welcome illegal aliens in here?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, think about it now. Again, here we go again. And I because I get caught in that middle all the time, because there's always this divide between the black and the white thing. And I always think about Lincoln. Lincoln was a Republican.
Yeah.
And here's this guy who comes in who's a lawyer. He ran for office. You got me? And he figured, well, hey, one of the issues is this race thing, this black and white thing. He jumps in there. That was his platform. You got me? And he goes in there and says, okay, fine. Well, look, but he was thinking ahead of time. He was saying, okay, fine. It is a problem. I think I can run on this peace aspect of it. But what he did, he said, okay, fine. He involves the part of that platform in the war, and i.e. the blacks, so the Civil War. And so all of a sudden, he makes the decision to, quote, bring some of the slaves into the army, into on the American side. And the Confederacy, which is Johnson at the time, on the other side, he didn't do that at the last minute, so to speak. But the bottom line, he did go through the process too at the last minute to try to get, i.e. get slaves on his side. But Lincoln had more slaves at the time, and he won the war. The American, i.e. the Union Army, won the war. But what he didn't just say, okay, fine, let's just kick all the rest of the folks out. He said, no. He said, the president to be on the Confederacy side, he made him vice president. Made Johnson vice president.
Yeah.
Of the Confederate, made him vice president. The whole idea was to put us back together.
Yep.
But there was some greed in that piece. And then just imagine if Lincoln had not been shot, and that would have happened, then we would have had an election. And then as time goes, then someone from the South would have been elected president, just going on. And the issue of this so-called race, look at it what we have today. We still have this situation sitting on the table, and we still have that divide among the cultures aspect of it.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be.
Well, the thing is,
You understand what I'm saying?
I don't think our leaders actually lead by example.
About
I mean,
the money.
I'll
About
give
the
you
money.
another example here. I mean, the Chuck and Nancy show, that's what I call it.
Yeah.
The Chuck and Nancy show, Nancy Pelosi and
enough.
Chuck Schumer,
Yep.
they have walls around their own homes, right? Well, why do they have walls around their own homes if supposedly walls, according to Nancy Pelosi, are immoral? So what my question is why do they have walls around their own homes in Washington, D.C. or Virginia or wherever they live? They have these walls around their own homes. They have gates. They probably live in gated communities or whatever, But yet having a wall to protect our own home here in the United States is so immoral, according to Nancy Pelosi. So it's double standard. They're not leading by example. And what I think that they're afraid of, and this is actual fear, I think what they're afraid of is Trump will actually succeed. And they're not because if he succeeds, they can't criticize him for succeeding. They can't because he didn't fail. They can criticize him on his failures or his
But
made up failures.
But the
point
issues
is
are
they're not-
serious. These are
they're
serious
not leading
issues.
by example.
They're not. They're not. They're not. You know.
And that's what the difference is between leadership
Yeah,
and management.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
managers
yeah.
that are trying to manage, but they don't know how to lead.
Yep, yep. You know, she was being interviewed. I thought that was interesting. The other day, she was being interviewed by this lady, and she happens to have been an African-American woman. She's a newscaster now, and the name just doesn't come to me right off the bat. But the bottom line is that as she was interviewing her, now all of a sudden there was folks coming up to the mic and asking questions, and this one young lady came up, and she happened to be an African-American woman, and she started talking about Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
Okay, she was black. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And so, and the way Pelosi responded before she got to be speaker, when she basically embraced her before, and now she's the speaker. Got me? Then the response was, well, no, we don't want to go that way anymore. We just want to just say, okay, it's not Black Lives Matter, it's Mexican Lives Matter, something to that effect. And
What about all lives matter?
No, but
How about that?
She went to that part, but my point is, she threw the other person under the bus after she got elected. See,
It's like
that's
they
the point I was making.
insert the constituency
Right,
that they want to
right,
insert at the particular
right.
time they want to insert it.
Exactly. And then I'm sitting up here saying, okay, well now you're Italian. I mean, maybe I might have to make a point about that. I don't think the Italians should be in the deal. You guys got a problem. And then on the other hand, when you think about who's our senator, we were talking about the chair, the speaker of the minority speaker of the Senate.
Oh, Schumer?
Schumer. Schumer. Well, now he's Jewish. You know, we hear this piece all the time. Well, as far as I'm concerned, they shouldn't be a part of the deal. You got my point? So my point is that now we got into this whole piece again. As far as I'm concerned, here's a young woman sitting at that mic who's going to be the next generation.
Yeah.
You don't answer it in a negative way. So she leaves that podium from the standpoint, oh no, I got some problems with that. So now we got this divide again.
Yeah.
And yet and still now Pelosi is very close with the black caucus of that piece. Now she has met with them and chummy, and as a result, in all due respect, here this old guy happened to be Cummings. He becomes
Elijah Cummings.
Elijah becomes one of the key figures.
Of course,
but where is that young person who just got through saying, I want to be part of the deal too? What about me? But no one gets and solve that problem as opposed to answering her question, as opposed to her asking that question at this so-called question and answer period with Pelosi. You see what I'm saying? If you're gonna do Cummings, you make sure that Cummings got young folks sitting up in that caucus. You see what I'm saying? So then it's not an issue. You got me? So I was looking at this very closely, but again, it always came right back down to the same deal. As long as it was about, quote, Trump, as long as everybody said something, and they blamed Trump for it.
Right.
They blamed Trump for it, and it's not Trump, it's the issue. The man ran on certain issues, okay? This so-called wall, whether it be an iron fence or this, that, and the other, that wall was about doing things, taking care of all of us. I mean, being humane about those folks that don't have anything in these other countries. Yeah. But now it's about he's having those discussions with these other countries. Say, hey, we can't give you this welfare check anymore. You got to do for yourself now. You're the leader. You got to grow crops, and you're going to have to pay for this stuff. Yeah. You got my point? And we want to buy from you, that type of deal. But the bottom line, but you got this entity that said, look, I got one thing. In 2002, we got to have another president. And trust me, there's no way in the world they're going to be able to compete with this entity that's there. I mean, the idea is to go on and work this thing through. If you had personal problems initially, that should have been part of the campaign. They said, okay, fine. On the application form, if you've done this, that, and the other, you can't run. If you got this, that, and the other, that wasn't asked. Mm-hmm. The idea is that, like I said, you just plopped $100 and you can run for president.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all defined in here. I mean, I pulled this out before. It's my original Constitution. I carry it with me everywhere I go, and I mean, it's all defined in here what the requirements are to run for Congress.
Check it out.
You know, and I mean, mine's a little worn. The cover's coming off of it, but the point is, it's all defined in this little book.
Yes.
That's actually pocket size.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm really surprised that most people in Congress probably don't even have
They don't know. They look here. They
haven't read it.
Hey,
and especially that Ocasio-Cortez. I'm surprised she can even read. But I mean, the point is, I'm surprised. Another thing, I mean, just to mock the other side a little bit, but I'm surprised Trump hasn't been blamed for every cat stuck in every tree in America for some reason. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they haven't figured out a reason to blame him for every cat stuck in a tree in America yet. You know,
But then you ask yourself the question: they're building all these obstacles now just on this one man. That becomes part of the application for him.
Mm-hmm.
How is someone going to be able to compete and run for office this next go around?
Okay.
Are you getting my drift?
Okay.
At least he has a platform.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
at least he's allowed to run for the next 4 years. Okay, whatever that is.
Right.
But after that 4 years, he's done. But what happens after that? And if they've changed the application process such that people are going to be saying, "Wait a minute, you can't do something sexual here. You can't even look somebody this way. You're not part of the Me Too movement." Well, then you got to say, "Okay, fine. Who can run for office? Who's going to be able to run for office this next round?" Think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we understand what the legal profession is all about. It's all in response to one who can remember those cases that can make that part and parcel of the solution.
Yeah.
That becomes the Melvin Belli of the arena, right? You got me? So now all of a sudden, no one will be able to run. It's going to be very difficult to find someone that can meet the criteria, clean
That's
slate.
right.
And I go right up front with Biden and some of the ones that they're saying at the top of the line aspect of it. You know,
I think the whole Democratic primary process coming up here in
Oh!
2020 is just going to be absolutely hilarious because
man.
they're going to rip each other apart.
Hey, man.
I mean, down to the bare shreds, you know. And Trump's just going to be sitting back there and he's going to be laughing.
Oh, you're going to be laughing for
Yeah,
days.
exactly.
And in
It's
that
gonna be like-
Constitution, it says
Yep,
point
exactly.
blank
Yeah.
that, look here, if you're president of the United States, after you file the deal, you can't sue him for nothing after the facts.
Good.
You can't sue him for nothing in
Yeah.
any way.
Yeah.
You can go through that process,
Yep.
Just
which
a
is
waste
phony,
of time.
but he can't go to prison. He can't. He's going to be someone that someone can write books about later on. But that's it.
Yeah.
He can just be straight up legitimate. He's laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
That's fact. That's fact.
Yep.
But the next round, they're going to probably put that insert and asterisk in there now.
Well, they had to amend the
Yeah,
Constitution.
they're going to amend it. They're going to amend it.
Yeah.
And if they amend it, then where are you going to find folks?
That's
Well, you
always.
gotta there's a process. I mean, you got to get it through the House and the Senate.
Yeah, but
first,
still,
and
I'm just
then
saying.
You got to get 3/4 of the states in order to amend that.
But they will
Right.
use that information that they're using on him now,
Yeah.
and still use it as a reference if a person is running.
Yeah.
You got my point?
I get your
So,
point,
so
yeah.
all your building blocks that you got there, he was a developer when he got in there.
Yeah.
He was a developer. He was building all over the world. However, whatever that criteria was to build, that was a tough nut. But you had to have certain
I
things to
think
do.
that was incredible.
But he got it done.
Yep.
But what about these other folks that are builders? They can't run anymore.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
'Cause they're already there, right? You got me?
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about the sex thing, Jesus Christ, now it's going to the movie stars. I mean, anybody and everybody and whatever. I was thinking about Hugh Hefner, and all of a sudden they said nothing about Hugh until he passed away. They haven't said anything yet. And everybody was looking at Playboy, right? On the tubes, the whole 9 yards, married to 4 or 5 women. I mean,
Well, I mean, what I'd like to see is, I mean, we all heard about this fund, the supposed fund, I guess, in Congress where Congress people could
Yeah,
cover up their
that's right.
sexual
That's right.
indiscretions.
That's
you know?
right. That's right.
Well, I want to know who's on that list. I
Well,
want to know who's been paid out on that fund.
That's right.
And I want to know
That's
who
right.
authorized those
That's
funds
right.
to be paid out. That's taxpayer money.
Well,
that's my money. That's your money. That's
It
your
is?
money.
Well-
that's being paid out to cover up the sexual indiscretions of these Congress
exactly.
people.
And in fact, in all due respect, it happened to be an African American congressman that was basically in charge of that whole little group, and he has since resigned.
Yeah.
Conyers.
Yeah.
Conyers.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Conyers?
Conyers, yeah.
See, and he just retired. The guy almost had a heart attack, but he got out now. He's kind of retired now, but he didn't want to say. But he was basically with all the group. Everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
But it just so happened
Yet they have the gall to accuse Trump of these things
did.
when they're doing it themselves.
they were doing it.
As I
But
said, they don't know how to lead by
the
example.
masses don't know. They
Yeah.
don't. In fact, like you said, you've got that one that you've read, whatever.
Yep.
How many folks that you've knocked on the door that say, "Do you have one of these?"
A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't.
The
I
majority
carry
don't.
them with me,
I
but
wouldn't
yeah, a
expect
lot of
That's
them
right.
don't. Yeah.
And then, you know, as a media person, whatever, you can take any line in there and you can just say it. You can interpret it however you want it.
Yeah.
Who's gonna
They
challenge
twist it. Yeah.
And then-
exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So anyway, folks, we're just having a good discussion, and we'd encourage you to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because we're
That's
right
right.
in the midst of the election.
Yep.
And so I suggest that you get to the table, get your neighbors, and just start talking.
Yeah.
Just start talking.
That's
But
right.
but in the future, when folks say something about a particular person, because in all due respect, we do have a president. Don't let that stress you out. The person's name happens to be Donald Trump. That's who he is. You've got an opportunity to vote on someone this next round. You got me?
Right.
So start trying to pick someone along that line. He's president for this period of time. If he happens to run again, he becomes part of a list. Now you can sit down and have that discussion.
Yep.
But remember one thing. Remember your pocketbook. Remember the fact that you got bills to pay. Remember you've got an environment to live in and things of that nature. And start thinking about what the real issues are. And you're going to have to really start asking these folks who are running for office, who in the heck are they? You got to get something in
Do your
writing.
research, yeah.
Do your research and demand, if you will, that application, if that person, if they run, try to fix that before these people come up and sign. Make sure that there's a resume that goes with that application process that you can access, because you can Google stuff.
Yeah.
But right now, when you Google the application, whether you're running for Congress, president, or whatever, all you have is a name.
Some of it comes back as fake
That's
news
it.
too.
And
Yeah.
That's right.
A lot of it comes back as fake news.
That's right.
So,
And you can't challenge that.
yeah.
But you can, i.e., make sure that whatever they put down in writing has to be fact
Yep.
and legit. But right now, it's not on the application process, right?
Yep. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. It's not on the application process.
Are you sure? In other words, it has to be facts?
Yes. No, but not now. It hasn't.
Right. I
Not
didn't
now.
think
It can
so.
be on the application process, and if you go through the process, like I said, if they go through the process, they can get elected. And then, well, if you don't get elected but you run, and you don't win, not a problem. But if you go through the process and you win, and then the other option, oh no, that person was a liar, then they take you to court
Oh,
if you got the money.
Yeah.
And depending on what side of fake news are you with.
Exactly. Yes.
And that's what we are with the presidential issue.
Yep,
right?
exactly.
See, because in all due respect, the Republicans, you can look at Fox, and they just go facts. I mean, really right down the line. And the other entities, you can do freedom of speech, right? You can say anything you want. That's what I call fake news in many ways.
Yeah.
We got, as part of the Constitution, some way to perform, we got amended such that it's not just freedom of speech, it's got to be fact.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that doesn't say that.
Well, according to Nancy Pelosi, other people's facts don't matter. to
That's
her,
right.
so,
Well, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. You can say anything you want to
She
say.
actually said that
Yep.
in,
Oh,
in
yeah.
front of an audience
Yep.
on TV.
Yep.
Oh yeah, well your facts don't matter.
right.
You know,
That's right.
your facts. It's
That's
my
right.
facts that
That's
are
right.
important.
That's right. That's
yeah.
right.
But I think what we should be pursuing is the truth,
Right.
not just the facts.
That's right. That's right. But it has to be written down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we got.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. The Chuck and Nancy show want Trump to basically say, "Oh yeah, we'll talk about border security. All you have to do is just reopen the government."
That's right.
And then she says the other day, she was asked the other day, "Are you going to do it within the next 30 days?" Oh no, we're not going to do it the next 30 days. You know, so the point is, Trump has the leverage right now, and right now it's all about leverage.
That's all it is.
You know, that's what you got to have. You got to have leverage in any deal that you cut. And Trump is the deal maker, and he knows he has the leverage right now because as long as the government is closed,
Right.
then he has the leverage.
Right,
And
right.
it's sad that his leverage is affecting other people
Right,
within the government
right,
and their
right,
families.
Yeah.
But the point is he's fighting for the American people
Right, right.
in terms of having the leverage.
Right.
And if he gives up that leverage and reopens the government, Democrats aren't going to do anything.
I'm making a prediction right now today. Those people, I mean, right up front with, they all getting paid. It's just they're gonna get that Christmas check is gonna come when they get back on the job. You got my point? And so, and as you know, if you got, it's like equity in your house. You can go to an entity and borrow money on an equity if it's proven, right? Well, the equity in this particular case, they are going to get paid. They can go to any bank and borrow the money.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up with it, because they can legitimize the fact that that money is going to be there. And it's just a matter of making sure that they sign the right papers, that they can make sure that that first check that comes will be less than that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get paid. So bottom line is this. Come Friday, I think Friday is the last day, so to speak. And then from that point on, it's on you. You just basically fired. You just laid off.
I didn't know that. No.
So the name of the game is this. Look, President Trump can, like you said, do the same thing. Look, those people are not going to lose their money. If the last day is Friday, I'm saying to you, he's going to basically do the executive order and say, I'm going to build this fence, and I can do that. And
Yeah, he does it to the military. Yeah.
He'll just do it.
Yeah.
He'll just do it. But the
Yeah.
people are going to get paid. You got me? And on the
Yeah.
other hand, if he says, well, what we're gonna do? We're gonna put the deal, and I'm gonna write this deal such is I'm gonna extend that another month. And what I'm gonna do, besides just saying, okay, fine, I'm gonna give you your regular pay. You got my point. I'm gonna make sure that we set up a pot over here, and you can borrow money from this pot, and we'll give you some of the back pay that's got going. You don't have to worry about going to the bank and borrow the money.
Yeah.
Or if not that, we'll pay the interest.
Yeah.
I mean, my point, they're gonna get paid.
Yeah.
Friday, they're going to
Yeah.
get paid. They're not going to
It's-
lose their houses.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's-
that's my prediction. They're going to get paid. You are going to get paid. Okay.
2 days. I hope
right,
we're
that's
okay
right.
there.
2 days,
We're
right.
all for
Well,
that.
he had the speech last night, right? He had the speech, right? Last night.
Yep.
Yep.
And then
It's a good speech. I said I watched all 9.5 minutes.
Oh
of it,
yeah,
so.
he did it right.
Yeah.
Now the name of the game is that the other entity said, because right up front, what they're being told by the constituency now, like some of the ones who are there now, saying, look, we do not want that fence. I don't give a darn if he did it on his own money and liquidated. We don't want it anyway.
Yeah.
You got my point?
Well, I mean, it's obvious that the Chuck and Nancy show don't speak with the American
No.
people because, I mean, if some guy, a tri-collegiate guy, went on GoFundMe
Yeah.
and he raised, what is it, 16, 17, 19
yeah,
million,
yeah,
$20 million
yeah.
Oh.
to build the wall.
Yes.
And the Chuck and Nancy show are saying that, oh no, we don't. The polls are saying that American people don't want the wall.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know what polls
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
reading
yeah,
or
yeah,
whose backside they're
Yeah,
up. But I
yeah.
mean, the point is, American people want the wall if they're willing to give a veteran
Yep.
$19-20 million to give to the government to build a wall.
Yep. So my point is that they're going to get paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they are going to get paid. You're not going to lose your money, and even if you had to go get an interest on your money, if you make sure you get it there, the bottom line, you just say, look, besides getting paid, we're going to come up with an amendment that says some banks going to. It's like car loans.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to take some of those risk loans. They're going to say, okay, fine, you go to bank A, B, and C, and D, and they'll give you your money,
Yeah.
and we'll make sure you get the money back.
Exactly.
That could be done overnight.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You got me? But that's up to Friday because that's the legal thing that's on the books.
Yeah, I didn't know about Friday.
Yep. Friday's going to be that date. That's why they're looking at that date.
Yep.
It's going to be the weekend. So the following week, that's why he gave that. As far as I'm concerned, that's why he gave that speech yesterday.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now it's going to. They're negotiating. He's got another plan at the end of the day.
Okay.
It's not going to be a negative on his platform for running for office.
Yep.
Those folks are going to know who gave them that check.
Exactly.
And right now, the person who's giving them that check is going to be President Trump, and they're not going to lose a dime.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
we
we
got-
got about 1 minute. And
Okay.
Just want to thank the crew
Oh,
for
thank
making
you.
the
Yeah,
show
thank you
possible.
very much, crew.
Also, Portland Community Media, which is where we are right now.
Yep.
And so, and we of course want to thank Mark Callahan for coming in,
Oh, thank you, Richard.
co-host
Yeah.
Bruce.
Yep.
Bruce.
Appreciate that.
Broussard.
Very much. Okay. And I might mention that we're going to continue this conversation on another show, so we're going to probably do that in the future. But that's going to be on. So
Okay.
if you see us on the air again, this will be a continuation of this show. Okay,
Yeah, we can
All
do
right.
that.
You got me? So that's where we are going to be. And then I'm going to be doing some things on my show in the Oregon Voters Digest, which is the 13th, which is coming up this Sunday.
Sunday.
We're going to find out who is Joanne Hardesty. She's a newly
Right.
historical African American who was just recently elected to city council.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to get.